but it can always also go to minus 35 degree in winter. You imagine what is minus 35 degree कितना होता है? पता है सबको? आपका जो फ्रिज है ना, वो फ्रिज में टेम्परेचर 0, -0, -1, -2, -4 तक जाएगा. तो फ्रिज का टेम्परेचर -4-5 तक जाएगा एंड इट इज गुड इनफ फॉर अ फ्रिज. वहां पे टेम्परेचर इन विंटर कैन गो टू -35 degree. So imagine what happens. So, once I was there playing and, there was a glass of water which I kept near my bed. और मॉर्निंग में देखा तो बर्फ बन गया था पूरा का पूरा पानी. सो वहाँ पे इतना ठंडा होता है. बट हाँ, ह्यूमन ब्लड फ्रीज नहीं होता है. ह्यूमन ब्लड हमेशा ब्लड ही रहता है. You know why? Because we humans have ability to adjust in temperature ranging from -50 to +50 degrees. So humans can adapt. We are warm-blooded animals. We can adapt from -50 to +50 degrees. But everything else, especially everything in the moisture, everything, all water, everything will freeze in -35 degree. So, and there are very less vegetation. There is very less greenery in this place. And this is beyond Himalayas, so it is called Trans-Himalayan. Now, when it is so cold in Ladakh, what happens many times is, if people have to drink water, what will they do? So they will put two fire, one at the start of the pipe, one near the tap, so that the water can flow. Is it a good idea? You can type in the chat, is this a good idea? Okay, someone was asking what is the part of the brain which controls our body temperature? I don't think body temperature is controlled by brain. It's more biological, which is to do with entire body, but I'm not sure about the answer. I'll have to research. It's more about adaptation, physical adaptation. It's more to do with blood, because we are warm-blooded, we can adjust to all the temperatures. Anyways, so this is how some people would keep water warm so that they can get water to drink in winter when it is very, very cold. To put two fire, one at the end, one at the beginning. So while this is common sense, but this is not very intelligent thing to do. But at times we humans do everything which is not very intelligent, so it's okay. My journey in so this is the school called Sekmol School. This is the school where I was associated, where I am associated since last 15 years. So I went to this place long time back when I was doing my MBA. And since then I've been going to this place. This is a very interesting school where people who fail 10th grade come to this school, not people who pass. So today's topic of Stupa that we are going to discuss, I'm giving you some background about the place and the school so that you understand why Stupa and why freezing of water is required. Now this school is very unique because this school is by people who failed 10th grade, but they are into the driving schools, driving seat. So everything in the school is managed by the student, including farming, cooking, planning, timetable, teaching. Everything is done by the school. There are hardly any teachers. There are just 2 or 3 teachers, and even they are facilitators. So everything is done by the students. Like even milking the cow is done by the student, farming, managing the electrical gadgets, solar panels, everything is done by the students. So this is a very unique school where people don't learn through books, but learn by doing. Because it is said that, we humans, when we learn only with our eyes and ears, we can only learn 20% or 30%. But when we learn with our eyes, ears, hands, our body, we can learn much more. And that is what the school focuses on. So I went to this school first time as part of my project in 2004, and I stayed there for 2 months, and it was a winter season. So 2 महीने में मैं सिर्फ 2 ही बार नहाया था. So I had bath only 2 times in those 2 months when I stayed there. And after that, I went there many times every other year to do different projects. I also went with my family on a bike trip with my parents and all those stuff. And then in 2013, we were starting this Stupa project when I went there with the family. And Sonam told me, Sonam is the Funsuk Wangdu, whom we know as Funsuk Wangdu. He's a very good friend. So he told that we are going to do this Stupa project. And I started working on that Stupa project. And after that, I was made founding member of one of the universities that we started there. But that's not the point of discussion. Anyways, let's move on. So this is the Stupa project. Can I know, before I go ahead from here, has everybody seen the film or the movie that I sent? Just say yes or no on the chat if you have seen the movie, so that I know if people have seen the movie. So, okay, so everybody has seen the movie, which is a very good thing. So that, I don't have to repeat what is there in the movie, but I'll tell you about secrets which are not there in the film. Somebody is asking me, why do they need to farm? Why do they need to cook? Everybody needs to eat. So for eating, they need to farm and cook. And Ladakh is very different, not like Bombay where you can get food easily. It's so far away and at such a great height that roads are closed for 6 months in a year. So for 6 months in a year, in the winter season, we cannot go to Ladakh by road. We can only go by flight, and also if the air strip is not frozen. So you can't go there. Therefore, people need to farm and cook. Okay, so since you have seen the movie, I will not get into everything of the movie, but talk about the ice stupa project. So what you have seen in the movie is, in Ladakh, we made these ice stupas, which were mountains of ice. We froze this water in form of mountain of ice so that this water is available when we need it for farming. And this was the year in which I went. So there was some experiment that this school, Secmol school, was doing, and this is a prototype. Prototype means a small sample that we made in the first year. Then next year we did a big crowdfunding campaign, and we got some money, and we got a lot of people involved, right from army to villagers, and we made a big ice stupa, which is almost 1 million liters of water, and very big. You can see this big ice stupa. And what you also see on the top, which you would have seen in the film, is there is a nozzle, and the water is spraying out from the nozzle. And when the water sprays out from the nozzle, it freezes. How it happens, I will come to that. And in that year, we planted some 5,000 trees, and we also tied prayer flags on the ice stupas. And it was a big event that happened during that year. And these are the 5,000 trees that we planted out of the ice stupa water, which was, so this is a desert land. Ladakh is mostly desert. There is hardly any water. So we were using this ice stupa to conserve water so that we can plant trees and use it for farming. And this project was awarded Rolex Award in 2016, for which I went with Sonam Wangchuk to San Francisco, and we got an award of 70 lakh rupee for this project, because this was the biggest innovation in 2016, biggest innovation in the world. So now I will come to what was innovative, what was so different, what was so special, and how we did it. Is everybody with me so far? Okay, let's move on. So, one of the questions that can come to mind is why make ice stupa, which is in form of a cone, uh, big like this? They could have stored water either in bucket or big tanks, or they could have made ponds, or they could have frozen the water horizontally. So there were different ways in which we could have saved water. So why did we freeze only in form of a mountain? Why did we not make ponds or dams, or freeze it horizontally, or bought tanks? The simple reason was doing all this thing was very costly. So if you want to make a pond or buy a tank from storing 1 million liter of water, it would cost us a lot of money, and we did not have much money. Also, we could have stored water horizontally, but when you freeze water horizontally, it will melt fast, because sun rays comes over all the water. When sun rays falls on all the water will melt fast. But when we make a cone, the sun rays is falling only in some part of the water, so it will not melt very fast. So there were various reasons why we did this in form of a cone, but not in any other form. Now let's go to the science of it, जिसके लिए हम लोग आज जमा हुए. Okay, what is the science of whole ice stupa and how did we make it? So what you see now, and you have to look at this picture very carefully and minutely, because this will also help you to ask me questions later on. So what we did was we made a complete design कि हम ice stupa बनाएंगे कैसे. So design में हमने देखा कि सबसे पहले, if you see, there is a clay floor at the bottom. Clay floor means we put clay in the bottom. The reason we put clay in the bottom is because it is sandy and desert. If there is no clay, the water will go in the sand. Water will sink in the sand, or sand will absorb all the water. So first thing we wanted to do was, just put a clay. Clay was like a plastic or like a covering so that the water is not getting absorbed by the sand. So that was first thing we did. Then you see after clay floor we had a ice floor. आइस का पूरा फ्लोर बनाया, आइस को स्प्रेड किया. आइस को कैसे स्प्रेड किया? वाटर को हमने स्प्रेड किया और जब रात को -35 डिग्री होता था वो वाटर फ्रोजन हो जाता था एंड आइस का फ्लोर बनता था. सो वी हैड आइस फ्लोर. देन वी हैड अ ट्राइपॉड. Tripod is like, this tripod which is like a triangle or which is like a table. So this tripod was made to give a structure, because आई स्तूपा बना पर उसके नीचे एक स्ट्रक्चर भी चाहिए ना. हम कुछ भी चीज बनाते हैं, बिल्डिंग बनाते हैं, तो आपने देखा होगा कि they use steel and cement to give structure, then they put all the wall. So we put a tripod. We had this entrance from here, so it was like a cave. You enter from here, you go inside, there is a tripod and there are pipes. Pipes is from here till up, so there is pipe. And also this shape of this cave or house was dome shape. If you see, this is a dome shape here. So there is a tripod here, there is a dome shape here. Then what we also put is we put a lot of fish nets. So you see all these coverings, these are all fish nets. And there were bushes and thorns. Bushes and thorns. And at the top there is a sprinkler. So at the top what you see is a sprinkler. So, if you just understand the whole thing properly, and if you have questions, we will take those in a while. So the water is flowing from a mountain. When the water is flowing from a mountain, we put a pipe and bring the water here. Then water goes up from here, goes out of the sprinkler, falls down and it freezes. When it falls down, it will roll or it will go on the ground. Therefore, we have put this bushes and thorns and fish net so that water speed is reduced and water is captured by the shape. And when the water is captured by the shape, the water will accumulate here and go up and up and up and up and up and gradually become a ice stupa. Is everybody clear? Or if there are questions, I will take some questions here before moving ahead. Is everybody clear on this structure? That's the question. So somebody is asking, why did they have to carry tanks? See, because they cannot store water. So to store water, they need to carry tanks. Then somebody is asking, how do they farm? Again, it's not related to ice stupa, but I'll try to answer it. They farm like normal places. They use soil and they put water and they put seed and it farms. Okay, anyway, anybody has a question on this structure which I have put now, which is the dome structure or the structure of the ice stupa? Okay, good. No questions, so let's move ahead. So, get the pipe with water. So, one of the principle of science that we have used in this ice stupa is water maintain its own level. Does everybody know this, that water maintain its own level? If you know, just do a thumbs up or say yes. Water maintain its own level. Do you know this? Okay, somebody is asking, what is the tunnel? So tunnel is for people to go inside so that they can go inside and manage the whole project. Because when pipe is frozen, when you have to push the pipe up, there is space needed to go inside, so that from inside you can go up and do various things. So the tunnel is for that purpose. Okay. So when I say water maintain its own level, I'll show you one thing so that you can understand. What it means is, say in this pipe I have put water. There is water in this pipe. Now water is still this level. It's here and it's here. I don't know if you can see it very clearly, or you can experiment in your house. Now when I raise this pipe up or down, the water will always come to its level. See, the water is at same level here. If I increase the length of one side of the pipe or decrease it, water will still maintain its level. So, to check the level, the water level, people use this pipe even in construction. So no matter how much I raise this pipe up or down, water will always balance and come to its level. So this is the same diagram which is shown here. In the first diagram, there's a pipe, or you can use even, other equipments. And when you put water on one side, the water will flow to the other side and come to the same level at which the water is there on the first side. So water will always be at the same level. So this was one of the principles that we used. Another principle that we used was gravity. We know what happens in gravity. When you use gravity, everything falls down. Okay, tell me, what is one thing in nature which does not follow rule of gravity? Everything else follows rule of gravity. Everything else goes down, but there is only one thing in world which does not follow rule of gravity, which doesn't go down despite gravity. Arisha, you are saying you are not understanding. So maybe I will talk to you a little later. In the end, I will explain you what you are not understanding. So you just make a note of what you are not understanding. Okay. Okay. There is one thing which doesn't follow the rule of gravity. Yes, people have said air. Yes, air sometimes, not always. Airplane also will fall if it is not flying. So the only thing in the world which does not follow rule of gravity is fire. Fire always, or the flame always goes against gravity. It goes up. It doesn't go down. Anyways, let's explain. Let me explain this diagram. So how did we make ice stupa? There are these mountains. There are these big mountains from which the river or the stream is flowing. So this is the stream. Blue color thing that you see is a stream. So what we did was we put a pipe in the mountain here, and we brought the pipe to the ice stupa site, and we put another pipe here, something like this. So we brought a pipe from the mountain, from the stream of the mountain, and put another pipe here. Now this pipe is at the same level. So जहाँ पे ये pipe है stream से जहाँ पे चालू किया, ये pipe वही level पे है. See, you are seeing at the same level. So what will happen when the water is there in the pipe? It will flow up to the same level because of gravity, and then it will sprinkle out. So we are using gravity as a pump. Normally you would need pump to push water up. जैसे हमारे बिल्डिंग में हम पानी टैंक पे कैसे लेके आते हैं, टेरेस के टैंक पे पंप यूज करते हैं. बट अगर हम ग्रेविटी यूज करें, अगर बड़े माउंटेन से पानी लाए तो ऑटोमेटिकली ऊपर जाएगा. So if you know, in hanging garden there is this big tank. Hanging garden is actually known for water tanks. So in olden days, like 100 years back, hanging garden was the supplier of South Bombay. So जो भी साउथ बॉम्बे में वाटर आता था ना, वो हैंगिंग गार्डन से आता था. क्यों? बिकॉज ग्रेविटी से पानी सबको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होता था. तो हैंगिंग गार्डन के टैंक में सारा पानी जमा होता था, और बिकॉज ऑफ ग्रेविटी इट वाज गेटिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू ऑल द हाउसेस इन साउथ बॉम्बे. सो दे वर यूजिंग ग्रेविटी. So we use the same principle. We put the pipe here on the mountain, laid the pipe till the ice stupa, brought the pipe up and sprayed the water outside. And when the sprayed water mixes with -30 or -40 degree temperature, it freezes. Is everybody with me so far? Okay. So now I'll explain you what are the different principles that we have used, science principles that you learn in the school that we have used for ice stupa. So one I said is gravity. So we used gravity instead of pump. Pump के लिए पैसा लगता था, petrol लगता था, and all those things. So we wanted to do things which are beyond machine. So a lot of innovations in nature can happen which does not require machine. Like example, we use sun to heat things. अगर हमको पापड़ सुखाने हम sun में रखते पापड़ सूख जाता है ना, हमको जरूरी नहीं है कि उसके लिए मशीन चाहिए. We can use direct sunlight. Similarly, we use gravity instead of pumps. So that was one innovation. Second is we use siphoning technique. Siphoning means what we saw in the pipe. Means when you suck water out of the pipe, you are able to bring the water to the other side. So we used the flow of water and the water maintain its own level to move water from one end to another end. Secondly, this is a question. So if it was so cold, why water was not freezing in the pipe? Can somebody answer this question? Maybe you can unmute everyone. We'll unmute everyone. So tell why water was not freezing in the pipe.
We can ask him.
Dilip Jain.
Yes. Why water was not freezing in the pipe? Can someone answer?
Not changing.
Dilip,
Yes.
because of when the water.
Yes.
Uncle.
Yeah, anyone, please answer. Go ahead.
Because flowing water doesn't freeze.
Yes, that is one reason. There was one more reason why water was not freezing in the pipe. Can someone answer that? Sorry?
Because it was inside the pipe.
It was moving by gravity.
The pipe was heated.
Yes, one is the pipe was the flowing water was flowing, therefore it was not getting frozen. There was one more reason, because of gravity it was moving, therefore it was not frozen. Yes.
The pipe was heating. Oxygen is there inside the pipe.
No, oxygen inside the pipe doesn't mean कि वो heat freeze नहीं होगा. No, we were not heating the pipe. How can you heat such a big pipe? The pipe was 2 kilometers long. From here to
the pipe was made from rubber.
no. Even if you make a rubber pipe and the outside temperature is minus 20 degree, it will freeze.
Due to inertia.
So one is inertia and flow. Yeah. So inertia, flowing water was helping water not to freeze in the pipe. There was one more reason. क्या घर पे रह के सब लोगों को कोरोना में ब्रेन फ्रीज हो गया लगता है?
Insulation.
You can't insulate at minus 20, minus 30. You can, but it will be very costly to insulate at such temperatures. There was some other technique that we were using so that water doesn't freeze the pipe. Very simple common sense technique.
दे दिया एक दे दिया दूसरे का याद
ट्राई करो, अगर एग्जैक्ट आंसर नहीं भी पता तो ट्राई करो. चलो.
Because it was under the ground.
Yes, who said this?
And
Very nice. Mute everyone. Okay, yes, the answer is right, because the pipe were laid under the ground. When you put pipe under the ground, there is something called frost line. Frost line क्या होता है कि under the ground 4 or 5 feet तक frost जमता है, उसके बाद frost नहीं जमता. It is warm. It is like 18 degree or 10 degree or 4 degree. So it is not below. So when it is minus 35 degree on the ground, but if you go 5 feet below the ground, it will be at 0 degree or 4 degree or 5 degree. So this is called a frost line. Matlab when you go below the ground, even in Ladakh or even in Kashmir, if you go 5 feet below the ground, it is not as cold as it is outside the ground. It is plus 0 degree. It is 4 or 5 degree or 10 degree. That is called frost line. So what we did was we put all the pipe under the ground, under the frost line. When we put all the pipe under the frost line or under the ground, and the water is moving due to gravity and it is flowing, it will not freeze. Is everybody with me? Has everyone understood this? Okay, good. Also, what other technique that we used is kinetic energy. You all learn this kinetic energy and static energy. So flowing water has kinetic energy. When a water is flowing due to gravity, there is kinetic energy, and because of that, it was not freezing. But the question is, if the water was not freezing in the pipe because it was under the ground or it was flowing, how did it freeze at the nozzle? जहाँ पे ice stupa बन रहा था, पानी बाहर निकला था, वहाँ पे freeze कैसे हुआ? I'll unmute everyone. Please try to answer this question. If the water was not freezing everywhere in the pipe because of gravity, how did it freeze at the nozzle? Yes,
because
It was above the because it went above ground.
No, because it was getting sprayed in particles.
Yes.
Particles are affected by
Getting sprayed in small particles, it was easier to freeze.
Yes. So there were 3 reasons. One is it was above the ground. Second was above the ground. Yes. Second was the water, when it was flowing in a bulk. But when there was a nozzle or a sprinkler, the water was spraying into small particles. तो bulk से small particles हो गया. मतलब जब साथ में था freeze नहीं करा था because kinetic energy group का था. But जब split हो गया, वो अकेला हो गया water. And because split हो गया, अकेला हो गया, वो जल्दी से froze हो गया. So one was it was not flowing anymore. It was split into particles. Also, it came in contact with external air. Air bar was minus 30 degree. Underground, the temperature was 5 degree, but outside it was minus 20 or minus 30 degree. Now, when it splits into small particle, when it is stopped flowing, and when the temperature is minus 20 or minus 30 degree, what will happen to drop of water? It will all become ice. And when it goes out and becomes ice, and it starts to fall on the bushes and the fishing nets, and it starts to freeze and make snow and ice and keeps building above and above and above. Is everybody with me? ये सबको समझा नहीं तो वापस explain करता हूँ. So in the pipe, when the pipe is under the ground, then flowing, the water is not freezing. But at the nozzle, when water is released, it splits into small particles. It loses its kinetic energy. It comes in contact with minus 20 degree. and it is not flowing, and therefore it freezes. Okay, so this was simple principle we used there to keep water unfrozen and to freeze the water when we need it. Also, what we did was, what you saw in the earlier slide, we put two pipes here. So there was a big pipe and there was a small pipe. So because when ice stupa starts, it will be only at this side, then it will go to this side, then it will go to this side. So the point of putting two pipe was कि एक pipe fixed था, दूसरा pipe उसके अंदर से pass होता था. So because of that, we could increase the height of the ice stupa as and when the ice stupa was increasing in size. Also, I mentioned that we used bushes and fishnet because when you put bushes and fishnet, when water falls or the ice falls in it, it will slow its speed and it will start accumulating and it will start enhancing and freezing. I mentioned about waterproofing of the ground by using clay. Also, one more principle that we used, which is the principle of physics or geometry, what you say is, we use the ice stupa, we made the ice stupa in form of a cone. Of course, it is a natural structure. When the water sprinkles, it will become a form of a cone. Also, cone is the strongest geometrical shape. So in geometry, cone or hemisphere or pyramid are the strongest shape. उसको कोई भी चीज तोड़ नहीं सकता. Therefore, if you see some temples, they are like curved, they are like arches because they are very strong. So cone is the strongest geometrical shape. Also, it gives minimum surface area to the sun but holds the maximum water. So if you do this volume and area formula of a cone, what you will see that cone can hold maximum water, but the area which is exposed to sun is very less. उससे क्या हो रहा है, water सबसे ज्यादा जमा हो रहा है, but sun को बहुत थोड़ा सा area मिल रहा है उसको water को melt करने के लिए. So it is getting the maximum water but using the least surface area. So these were some of the principles that were used, which you all learn in your 7th standard, 6th standard, or 8th standard, or even 5th standard. We used all these principles, and these were used by the school of this Sekmol school and to make ice stupa. So this is one more photograph of ice stupa which we did next year. So you can see here there's a cave. From this cave we can go inside. So we made two ice stupas together. So this is one nozzle or one pipe. This is second nozzle, second pipe. This is third nozzle, third pipe. So there is one big pipe coming from the stream from here. Then it flows inside like this and it sprays here, it sprays here, it sprays here. And you can also see the bushes and the fishing nets. And this ice stupa was like biggest structure, man-made ice structure in the world, even bigger than any Guinness World Record. So with this, I will stop here and unmute everyone to ask questions. Okay. Unmute everyone, please. Okay, किसको कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछना है? कुछ नहीं समझा? पापा को बिठा दिया, वो तो आईडी भी पीछे. मैं फिर मान. Any questions? Anybody wants to ask any questions?
No.
Everybody understood? Then I will ask you one question. Anybody wants to ask any questions, or I will ask questions?
Can I ask questions?
हाँ बोलो.
So water was taken from a stream.
Yes.
Like a flowing stream.
Yes.
Does the water freeze immediately after it comes out?
Yes. So one is, when the stream is flowing like this, we put a pipe here and water was captured in the pipe and the water was taken away for the ice stupa side. Yes, when the water comes out from the nozzle, it will freeze immediately because it is coming in contact with -20 degree. Uska speed kam ho gaya, it is no more flowing and it is into small particles. So yes, it will freeze immediately. Yes, any more questions? Okay, so tell me.
On the first nozzle, yes. What's that black one?
So these are the bushes and thorns which were put so that when water falls from the nozzle, sometimes it doesn't freeze because the temperature is not very cold. Then the water will stop on the bushes, and when it stops, it will freeze more immediately. How much time does it take to build one ice stupa? So somebody is asking how much time it takes to build one ice stupa. So generally, it depends on the size of the ice stupa. If you make it 30-40 feet, it can be done in 1 week or 10 days. But what happens is when we build ice stupa, many times the whole 2-kilometer pipe freezes. पूरा का पूरा 2 किलोमीटर का पाइप फ्रीज हो जाता है, अंडरग्राउंड वाला पाइप. Then we have to do lot of hard work. We have to use lot of solar energy, power, insulation to unfreeze that pipe. So if there is no freezing of pipe, the ice stupa can be made in a week, 10 days. But generally we were taking 20 days to 1 month.
Dilip uncle.
Yes. Yes. बोलो.
वो वीडियो में जो आपने वीडियो भेजा था उसमें दिखाया था कि वो पाइप टूट जाती है.
Yes.
So y'all change it or what do y'all do?
Yeah. So what we did was this 2-kilometer pipe was not one pipe. Those were small segments of pipes. So those were all say 10 meter or 20 meter pipes which were joined in different segments. So जितना part टूटता था उतना part हम निकालते थे और फिर हम उसको replace करते थे. Also pipe क्यों टूटता है? If you understand little bit of water, how water behaves, when water freezes it expands. जब water freeze होता है ना थोड़ा सा expand होता है. और अगर pipe में water freeze हो गया और expand हुआ तो pipe क्या होएगा? Pipe burst होएगा because pipe तो expand नहीं होगा, pipe फटेगा. So water expands when it freezes, therefore it used to burst. Also quality of pipe was one more issue. And for getting pipe, once what happened is, we were into winter season and the roads were closed and we could not carry pipe by road. So we requested army to give their helicopter and we lifted the pipe with helicopter and brought it to the ice stupa site. तो आर्मी ने हमको हेलीकॉप्टर दिया, हमने पाइप को उठाया दिल्ली से और लद्दाख में लेके गए. Yes, so somebody is asking, did you make this ice stupa? Yes, I was one of the core team member of the ice stupa project for almost 2 to 3 years, and I was staying in Ladakh for a lot of time. So I was involved, but yes, I was not making it in the sense that I was not on the ground because जब जो ice stupa बनाते हैं वो सिर्फ लद्दाखी लोग ही अच्छा बना सकते हैं because उनका body -30 में रात भर रुक सकता है. नहीं तो ice stupa बनाने के लिए पूरी रात -30 में रुकना चाहिए था. मैं आधे घंटे जाता था, उससे ज्यादा जाता तो फ्रीज हो जाता था, वापस घर पे आ जाता था. पर जो लोकल लद्दाखी लोग थे वो लोग -30 डिग्री पूरा दिन बैठ के आइस stupa बनाते थे, पूरी रात भर भी बैठते थे. Somebody is asking, does it takes few months? Arisha, it takes 1 month to make one ice stupa, and you can make ice stupa theoretically at any height. It can go up. Also, benefit of making this ice stupa was we were making it wherever we wanted because हम pipe से पानी किधर भी ला सकते हैं और उधर हम ice stupa बना सकते हैं. Okay, if nobody has a question, I will ask a question.
दिलीप अंकल.
हाँ बोलो.
आप आइस स्तूपास अपहिल नहीं बनाते थे ना?
नहीं, हम आइस स्तूपास डाउनहिल बनाते थे, अपहिल नहीं बनाते थे बिकॉज अपहिल में तो वाटर फ्लो हो रहा है, वहां से हम ग्रेविटी से डाउनहिल विलेज की इधर लेके आते थे और वहां पे आइस स्तूपा बनाते थे. अभी मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, अगर इफ द पाइप बर्स्ट व्हेन वाटर एक्सपांड, देन why use rubber pipes? See, any pipe you use, whether you use metal pipe or rubber pipe or plastic pipe, all the pipes will burst if water freezes. So the key is कि पाइप में जब पानी हो, पाइप should flow बंद हुआ तो freeze हो जाएगा, और flow कब बंद होगा? जब nozzle पूरा freeze हो जाएगा. So no matter what pipe you use, there is a risk of bursting. Okay, my question was, is it dangerous to go inside this tunnel or no? Is it dangerous to go inside this tunnel?
No.
Why not?
Because of the fish net. वो पूरा स्ट्रक्चर बनाया है और फिश नेट भी है. Yes,
fish net है, स्ट्रक्चर प्लस कोनिकल या आर्चेस आर वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. सो आर्चेस के ऊपर कितना भी आइस रहेगा ना तो आर्च को प्रेस नहीं करेगा, जितना आइस प्रेस करेगा वो आर्च और स्ट्रॉन्ग बनेगा. सो आर्च शेप आप घर पे भी एक्सपेरिमेंट कर सकते हो. इफ यू मेक एनी आर्च and you put any weight on it, it will not come down. But if you do a flat roof, so आप से playing card का flat roof बना के वजन डालेंगे ना तो वो playing card नीचे गिर जाएगा. पर अगर आप arch बना के वजन डालेंगे ना तो नीचे नहीं गिरेगा because arch is very strong shape. Yes. Okay, so somebody is asking how was this water used after it starts melting? So we were used. So the idea was not to keep this ice stupa like ice stupa forever.
Farming.
The idea was that when it melts in the summer season, the water is used for farming. So what we
Farming.
did, yes. So what we did was we put a tank and a pipe. So जितना थोड़ा ice stupa melt होता था, हम लोग पानी ही उसको farm में लेके जाते थे और उसको use करते थे. Okay, somebody asking if water freezes right after it comes out, why does it take 1 month to make one ice stupa? Because one ice stupa is 1 million liter of water, which is 10 lakh liter of water. अभी पाइप में जो स्पीड है, पाइप में जितना पानी ट्रांसफर होगा तो लिमिटेड है ना, रोज का थोड़ा ही पानी होगा. So therefore it takes 1 month. So it takes a long time. Plus there are also risks. No, pipe will freeze, pipe will burst. There will be some issues. Okay, now next year what we did was, we made this ice stupa as a tourism destination. So people can come to ice stupa, children can come to ice stupa for ice climbing. तो हम लोग इधर फ्लैग लगाया ऊपर, और जिसको भी क्लाइंब करना आइस stupa पे क्लाइंब करके ऊपर आके फ्लैग लेके आ सकता है. प्लस हमने ये जो केव्स था, टनल था, उसके अंदर होटल बनाया, तो अंदर चाय और सूप मिलता था. So when people or children used to come for climbing and to get chai and soup, they were paying us money, and with that money we were able to make more ice stupas. So we were using it for interesting purpose also. Okay, can someone tell me, there is one more science principle that we have used in making the ice stupa, which I have not talked about. What is that? Which is one more principle that I have used, which we have not talked about?
Dilip uncle, I can't hear you.
I said there is one more principle of science or physics which we have used, but I have not talked about it. What is that principle?
Centrifugal force.
Altitude.
Who said centrifugal force? Can you explain?
What?
Somebody said centrifugal.
I said centrifugal force.
Can you explain what is it?
I said. So it's the force which can pull stuff upward and hold it because of speed and pressure. So if you fill a bucket of water and tie the bucket to a rope and swing it round and round, water won't fall down. But if you put a pipe in a bucket and swing the pipe, the water will come out.
Yes. So I will explain this. We have not used centrifugal force in this ice stupa project, but I'll explain what is centrifugal force. If you put a glass of water on your hand और बहुत स्पीड से उसको घुमाएंगे ना तो पानी गिरेगा नहीं. तो वाटर का ग्लास हाथ में रख के एकदम फास्ट उसको गोल घुमाएंगे ना तो वाटर गिरेगा नहीं. घर पे एक्सपेरिमेंट करना. एक्चुअली ग्लास और पानी गिरेगा नहीं. Okay, any other principles that you see we have used in making ice stupa? Sorry? I am not able to hear you clearly. Yes. So we used altitude, obviously. Altitude means height. तो लद्दाख 12,000 या 15,000 feet पे तो वो height हमने use किया था. Yes. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I will close it here. Okay, hope you enjoyed and you learned something. अगर कुछ नहीं समझा तो मेरे को मैसेज करना. और centrifugal force या ये सब learning पे है ना, research करना. You can take a photograph of the slide and try to understand all these things properly. Okay, so with this we will close. Bye bye everyone.